It's no secret that Draymond Green and LeBron James are buddies, although it seems a bit odd considering Draymond gave LeBron a nut punch in Game 4 of the NBA Finals in 2016, which then would change the outcome of the whole series, with Draymond getting suspended in Game 5 and the Warriors blowing a 3-1 lead from that point on. But ever since then, these two were going at each other in that series. Somewhere along the line, they became very close, so close that it's gotten to the point where it almost seems like Draymond has got a bit of a man crush on his boy LeBron. Nothing wrong with that. He is one of the greatest players to ever play the game, highly respected among his peers, but it does all call into question whether we could potentially see this pair teaming up, and those rumors especially starting to heat up after it was announced that Draymond Green has declined his player option on the final year of his deal to the tune of $27.5 million, which is a lot to turn down considering it's very unlikely he's going to get that kind of annual salary at this stage in his career, and of course, some of the baggage that comes with Draymond, you know, like punching your teammates, stepping on players while they're down, getting teed up every week it seems, stuff like that. But Draymond is probably more focused on a longer term deal while he still has some value, but also giving him the freedom to go where he wants. The man has played his entire career with the Warriors, and with the Warriors dynasty potentially coming to an end, maybe it's time to go team up with his BFF. Or can he? Is it even possible? Well, let's talk about it. If you're new to the channel and you like this type of content, then be sure to subscribe, as I'll be putting out content all off-season, especially as news heats up into free agency and beyond. About 82% of you watching are not subscribed to the channel, and since this is a relatively new channel, it would mean a great deal to me to help it grow further. Now, there is this common misconception that when a player declines their player option and opts to become an unrestricted free agent, it means they want out of their current team and go wherever they want. And sure, while sometimes that is the case, more often than not, it's because they know they are worth more than the final year of their current contract, and they're looking for a longer term deal with more guaranteed money over time. And a lot of times, they want it from their current team. You've had a lot of instances of players declining their options, all but to re-sign with their current team for a longer term deal. And in some instances, will sign on a longer term deal, usually a more team friendly deal. So people shouldn't get it twisted that Draymond Green declining his player option means he's leaving the Warriors. If anything, I actually think it's more likely that he stays with the Warriors now, because if he truly wanted out, he would have picked up the big salary on his option and requested to be traded, because sign-and trades are much more tricky to complete when you have to get multiple parties involved in the transaction, and in some instances, Draymond might not have control on where he goes in a sign-and trade. And at the end of the day, the Warriors are probably still the best option for Draymond Green. I mean, if they kept the core intact, his game and play style fits the team perfectly, and his weaknesses aren't as heightened when he's surrounded by shooters and scorers. Draymond can focus on what he does best in Golden State: defense, playmaking, and infusing energy into the roster. Now, I know some will say, well, if Draymond wanted to leave Golden State, wouldn't it actually make more sense for him to just be an unrestricted free agent so he can go wherever he wants, instead of picking up his player option and then requesting a trade thereafter? Not necessarily. You see, just because you're a free agent does not mean you can go wherever you want. A team has to have enough cap space to be able to sign you, and when they don't have your bird rights, or they haven't acquired you in a trade, they can't sign you outright if they're already operating as an over-the-cap team or near the cap. That's why you see sign-and trades taking place, where teams can effectively sign you and then trade you to the team you're wanting to sign with, so that the team you're going to can use that salary cap to operate over the cap, and it also benefits the team for the outgoing players so they don't lose their free agent for nothing and can get some assets in return. And unfortunately for Draymond Green, there aren't a lot of teams with enough cap space to sign him to that kind of deal that he wants this offseason. Now, it was reported, this was a while ago, I believe it was about the start of the season, that Draymond Green was seeking a max or near max contract, which is insane. Any team that offered him that kind of money will be out of their mind. And I think now, after the season has played out, everything that went on, the Warriors also falling short in the playoffs, even Draymond Green knows he's not getting the max. But I'm sure he still thinks he's worth a big contract. And this is possibly Draymond's last big deal of his career, given he's 33, and any long-term contract is going to be putting him well past his prime by the end of that deal. And for the teams that do actually have enough cap space to sign Draymond, teams like the Rockets, Pacers, Pistons, Spurs, the Magic, he's not going to want to go to any of those teams at this stage in his career. And I doubt any of these teams would actually want to sign Draymond to a big contract when he doesn't fit their overall timeline in a rebuild. So really, the only way in which Draymond can actually go to another team outside of the Warriors and still get the kind of money that he wants, which I imagine it'll be somewhere in the 3-year, $60 million range. Whether that's fair value or not is debatable. I personally think it would be an overpay, but it's likely what Draymond would be seeking, and the only way that he could get that kind of money going to a contender is through a sign and trade. And since the premise of this video is talking about Draymond's obsession with LeBron James recently, would a sign and trade that would send Green to the Lakers work? Because again, like most teams around the league, the Lakers do not have cap space to sign Draymond outright. Not when they have big salaries to LeBron and Anthony Davis, and the fact that they now need to offer Austin Reeves a big deal as a restricted free agent. Likely going to need to do the same thing with Hachimura. They've got a partial guarantee on Jared Vanderbilt. So the point is, they're not going to have the money to sign Draymond unless they execute a sign and trade with the Warriors. And sure, it is possible the Lakers could be able to execute one. D'Angelo Russell is out. I don't think the Lakers are going to re-sign him. He's going to want too much money. I don't think the Warriors are going to want him either. They already moved on from him in the past for Andrew Wiggins. But where it could work is if the Lakers pick up the team option on Malik Beasley's deal at $16.5 million, they would maybe have to include another player to make the money work if Draymond is wanting closer to $20 million, potentially including a sign and trade of Dennis Schroeder. I could definitely see the Warriors going for this, getting a younger player like Beasley, who has been solid the last couple of seasons and fits the mold of the Warriors' pace and space style offense with high volume outside shooting. But the Lakers, are they going to be willing to give that up for maybe 1 to 2 more good years of Draymond Green? A Lakers team that was bereft of shooting until they made a concerted effort in going after shooters at the trade deadline when they added Beasley and D'Angelo Russell. Draymond is the opposite of that. And if they let D'Lo walk, how are they going to go about adding shooting to the roster? They can also get creative by keeping Beasley and using Mo Bamba and a double sign and trade for Lonnie Walker in exchange for Draymond. I see the Lakers preferring that deal over sending Beasley, but then it's not as enticing for the Warriors. In any event though, yes, there is a path in which Draymond Green, the Warriors, and the Lakers could facilitate a sign and trade which could get Draymond his wish of teaming up with LeBron James. You saw pictures of him hanging out with LeBron shortly after it was announced that he declined his player option. Not only that, after the Lakers defeated the Warriors in the playoffs, Draymond looked more happy than LeBron did despite taking an L, the opposite of the reaction from Steph Curry after the loss. Draymond and LeBron have been singing each other's praises for years now, and what I will say is, Draymond on the Lakers, yes, will present some challenges as it relates to taking away some of the Lakers' shooting, but Draymond and Anthony Davis together on defense would be pretty hard to get through. Granted, they have to stay healthy, which for Anthony Davis is a big if, but that would be a nasty defensive duo in the starting lineup. At the end of the day though, do I think it happens, Draymond joining LA? No, I think the most likely scenario is he remains in Golden State on a more team-friendly deal, but still one that would pay him out more guaranteed money over time than the $27 million he's opting out of. Or I could see him potentially going to another contender that might have better trade assets that the Warriors would want if the Dubs are seeking maybe some draft compensation, considering they also need to start thinking about their future post-Steph and Clay, which seems a little questionable at this point with that second timeline they have going on after the big contract that they just gave Jordan Poole. What other contender could that be if not the Warriors? I mean, the Celtics, they could use a veteran voice like Draymond's perhaps. The Heat would fit the culture and the hard work ethic they have there. A lot of it just depends on how much teams would be willing to give up for Draymond this late in his career when he's already starting to decline, and also how much they're going to be willing to take on in a potential big contract that he's seeking. So LeBron and Draymond teaming up, yeah, it would make for some good entertainment and storylines, but do I see it actually happening? No, I don't. Let me know what you guys think though. Do you see Draymond going to another team this offseason? Let me know in the comments. As always, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.